What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. El Nino here. So I'm going to be doing a story time video today on a dating horror story that I experienced about 2 years ago. Um, I never shared this story with anybody, so this is the first time I'm actually talking about this. It is a crazy story. Y'all are probably not going to believe it, but if you believe it, it is true. I'm not lying to you. This actually happened. So yeah, also if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're from TikTok, welcome. I am a tarot reader slash intuitive reader. I also do story time readings. So I'm gonna also be doing more story times on this channel. Also, guys, if you like this video, you like this story, which you probably will, comment down below what other stories you want me to talk about or topics, spirituality. Let me know down below. But okay, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay, so 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I went on this date with this person, and we're gonna call this person John. Okay, we're gonna call this person John, John. So, long story short, I was working a lot at that time. I was working night shift, so this kind of plays into this situation because I was working night shift at a store, and I was working as a overnight stalker. So I literally didn't have a social life anymore. My dating life was non-existent at that point. I literally wasn't going out. I wasn't meeting anybody. So one day I downloaded this app, this dating app, and it was actually Scout. So I don't know if that's a dating app, but it's an app to meet people. But I had downloaded that app, and it was on a Thursday night, and I had to go to work in a few hours. I worked from 2 a.m. to 10 in the morning. Okay, so I downloaded the app the evening before, and I posted some pictures. I posted my bio, and some guy hit me up, and he actually lived close to me. So he was like, "Hey, can I see you right now? Let's hang out." I'm like, "Oh well, I'm like, "Well, I can't hang out right now. I have to go to work." So he's like, "Okay, that's fine." So we started talking for about a week. All right. He gave me his number. We started talking, and we video chatted. So I knew what he looked like. And we video chatted for a bit, and a week later we agreed to meet up. Okay, so we met up the week after on a Friday. So literally, we had great conversations. Like, it was actually like, he seemed really nice. He was attractive. Not gonna lie, but he had a good personality, or so he seemed like he had a good personality. But we video chatted, and everything was fine until that Friday. So a week later on a Friday, we agreed to meet up. But I told him, hey, I have to. I told him my shift. I'm like, hey, so we can meet up Friday evening, because I didn't work on the weekends, but I work from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. So can we meet like on Friday around the evening? He's like, yeah, sure, let's meet up. I can show you around where I live, blah, 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 blah. So that Friday, I had gone to work, right? But he kind of was already acting a little bit weird the night before. I forgot to add that. So he kind of was like, I felt like he was just excited to meet me, but he kind of was making me a little bit nervous by like just his energy at the time. Like, he was like, "Oh," so he kept texting me, "You're coming tomorrow. You're coming tomorrow. You're coming tomorrow." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming." So I was like, okay. I started to get a weird vibe. I'm not gonna lie. Like, even though we had like good conversations, we video chatted. I know what he looked like, but something told me like, okay, something's a little bit off. I don't know what it is. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm being paranoid because I haven't really gone on a date in a while, and I was okay, maybe I'm nervous, maybe I'm overthinking, right? Maybe I'm a little bit shy. So long story short, that Thursday, like I said, the day before we were gonna meet up, he was kind of acting a little bit weird. Um, and I just started getting a kind of a weird vibe, and I was feeling not to go. So anyway, I went to work the next day. I went to work literally 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. did my shift. But when I was working, I just had a really I was texting him because he was still up. We were messaging each other while I was working. But I had a really weird feeling. I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like I should go. Something's telling me not to go. And I'm like, I don't know why. Because, we had good conversations. He seemed like a nice person. I know what he looks like. It's like I saw how he looks. So it's like, why am I nervous? So I thought maybe I was being paranoid. And long story short, When I got off work, I went, went to McDonald's, got my little meal. Then I went home and I went to sleep. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wake up around 4:30 because I was gonna meet him around 6. So I'm like, okay, so let me take a nap. So I went to sleep. I woke up around 4:30, and I had this, bruh. I had this weird feeling. I had this feeling of like, no, not to go. You know how when you feel something bad's gonna happen, you just feel something in the pit of your stomach. Yeah, that's what I felt. So I woke up. I felt like this dread. Like, I'm like, why do I feel nervous? Why do I feel like, this weird bad vibe? So I had consulted my friend who was also a reader. I'm like, hey, I told her the situation. I'm like, hey, girl, can you pull some cards for me? Because I couldn't pull cards for myself right at that time because my energy was off and I didn't want to mess up the energy. So I told her, hey, girl, I called her. I told her the situation. She knew kind of like that I was talking to him, but I didn't tell her I was going to meet him today. So I was like, should I go? And she did a reading for me, and she's basically was saying, Spirit was saying, you need to listen to your intuition. You already know the answer. So I was like, well, that's not giving me an answer. Like yes or no, right? So she kept saying, well, spirit is saying you need to listen to your intuition, which that should have been a sign, right? To not go, right? Because my intuition was telling me to not go, right? Long story short, he texted me like also when I got up around 4:30. Like I said, I woke up around 4:30. He actually had texted me, but he was like, you're still coming, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm still coming, like, yeah, don't worry. But he kept texting me, and I was getting really nervous. He's like, you're still coming, right? 6:30, right? 6:30. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, boy, I'm still coming. Like, so at that time I was actually on the phone with my best friend at the time. And she's like I said, she was a reader, and she told me spirit is telling you to listen to your intuition. Bruh, my intuition was telling me not to go, but I still went. Anyway, long story short, he had Ubered me to, which y'all don't do the same mistake I did. He basically, he told me like he had moved, basically the area that he moved was not far from where I lives, but he had moved there from downtown LA. And he didn't have a car, which was a red flag. But he's like, oh, I can Uber it to you. I'm working on getting a car, but we could hang out outside of my house. So basically, well, his roommates, because he was roommating with certain people. So basically, I Ubered it to his place, and I just had this really bad feeling. And I had called my best friend. I'm like, you know what? If something happens, girl, I'm gonna give you a code, and this is a sign for you to call me if something bad happens. And I forgot the code, but it was like somewhere. Let's just say the code was cheese. So I'm like, girl, if I text you cheese or if I text you something, um, call me right away. Okay, so that was a red flag because I honestly shouldn't have been feeling like that going on a date to meet somebody. Well, kind of a date, right? I was going to meet him. Anyway, this is where the story, if you're still watching this, please, 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 I'm actually going to timestamp it so the story gets crazy. I'm going to timestamp it so you guys can listen to this final. This is basically where the craziness begins. So, long story short, long story short, I had got there to Uber, and he lived kind of like away from the city, like near like these mountains, kind of like in a backwoodsy area. There's like a bunch of farms. So it's like basically in California, we have this place called Santa Clarita. If you're from California, you probably know it's like near Magic Mountain, and they have like an area where there's like mountains in the community, and there's like not a lot of people there, and that's where he lived. Of course, right? Of course, away from everybody. So, long story short, I had literally Ubered it, to his location, and when I got out, he was standing out there, and he was wearing a black hoodie. Bruh, it's 100 degrees outside and you're wearing a black hoodie. And it's like, it's just crazy because it's like, he has a hoodie on, and I couldn't really see his face. So when I got out the car, I'm like, wait a minute, I just had this really weird feeling, right? So I'm trying to be nice, and I'm still trying to make the best. So I smile like, hey, what is up? I smile, and I'm about to give him a hug, and he starts walking. He doesn't say nothing. And I'm like, and when I look back, my Uber car already left, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, bro. And my reception was not good at that point where I was. The bars literally started dropping. Like they literally started dropping. So I was like, he started walking. Said, "Hey, let's go over here. I'm gonna take you to this place, right?" So, bro, I was really scared at that point. I was right behind him, but I don't ask me why I was still following him, but I was following way behind him. But he kept turning back around to look at me to make sure I was there. And I had texted my friend, I'm like, cheese, cheese, cheese. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, maybe she can't call me because the bars are low. So she managed to call me. She's like, what's going on? I'm like, girl, like, I can't. And then he second looked at me and I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm good. Like, I was just like, and then he started slowing down and my dumbass, I was still walking like behind him, which I shouldn't have done. But when he slowed down, I was walking towards him. But then I felt like this weird, because you know how sometimes when someone looks, you can feel when someone's looking at you. When he looked back at me again, I felt like this push, like this, like energy of like spirits, like, no, bro, you got to go this way, go back, run, run, run. But I didn't run, so I literally was still on the phone with her, and he was like, okay. He's like, I was kind of laughing. I'm like, yeah, girl, yeah, I'm having a good time. He's like right there, right on my head. I'm like, girl, please help me, save me, save me. So literally there was no one around, guys. I was kind of scared for my life because it was starting to get dark. um and there was nobody around. Like literally where the area where he lived, it's like there was a lot of mountains, so the sun wasn't really shining, so it was kind of, it looked later than what it did. And I was scared, so we started walking a little bit more and he started walking up this hill. I'm like, wait, where are we going? He's like, oh, I want to take you up here. Bruh, when I tell you, I ran. I was like, no, I'm good. I started running down the hill because I was like, no, 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 bro. I was getting really weird vibes. Like you're looking around, you're looking around, you're looking around. And the part where we were walking, it said, do not enter. Please don't enter, trespassing. And I was like, oh, hell no, bro. I'm not going. Like, I'm like, I literally ran. No, I'm being serious. I ran. I had the phone in my hand still, but the call dropped when I was on the phone with my best friend. So I was running down the hill, and at that time it was already like getting almost dark. Like it was crazy how it got really dark really fast. And I was running down the hill, and literally I was like running, and I had hit this, like there was like a little, when we were walking, there was like this little mobile park, but it was very small and there was nobody there, and it was a little mini bus stop, but it was like no one was there, bro. Like literally it was almost like I was just in a bad place at the wrong time. So I was at the bus stop right there, and I was calling my friend again because I tried to call Uber, the signal was dead. Okay, the bar was really low, I mean, and I tried calling my friend again and it wasn't going through. And then I got two bars on my phone. I called my friend, she finally answered, and she's like, Eric, what happened? Like, I was trying to call you, I was trying to talk to you, and the call dropped. I'm like, girl, like he told me to go up with him on this hill. And I was like really, really scared, right? I was like really terrified because I didn't know where I was at that point. Like I was literally in the dark, and I don't know where this guy was because I just ran away from him. And I don't even know if he had followed me at that point until this part. And this part is really scary. So literally I'm on the phone with my friend. She's like, do you want me to call your dad? Because my friend at the time, she really knew my family very well. I'm like, no, 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 don't call him, don't call him. I told her, like, don't call him, like, I'm gonna just call Uber back home. I don't want anyone to know about this because I didn't want anyone to know about this. So literally when I'm on the phone with her, at the bus stop, I have this hair stood up on my back, bro, on my hands and my back. I look back, bro. He was standing right there under this street light by this little street corner thing, and I couldn't see his face. He had the hoodie on like this, bro. I was like, you better get the beep 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 beep. I was cussing him out, right? Because I couldn't want to get demonetized. I started saying foul language to him. My friend's like, oh my gosh, Eric, be careful. She's like, what? I'm gonna call your father. Like, she was like really scared. But it was really crazy because I was literally cussing him out. He was standing right there watching me, and then he just ran, and he ran back to the direction where where he had lived. So I was really scared because I literally thought he was gonna do something to me, and I couldn't see his face, and I felt literally this demonic spirit, bro. All jokes aside, I felt this demonic energy on this person. When I saw him, it didn't even look like a human. It looked like a demon in the shadows. Like I couldn't see this face. It's almost like it was black, but I saw the hoodie, but his whole face was blacked out. So imagine me, I'm scared and I see that, bro. I was like, am I gonna die? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh my gosh, this guy's gonna kill me. But he was standing there, and I don't know how long he was standing there. Probably the moment I started feeling my body was giving me a sign, spirit was showing me a sign. When I looked back, this dude was staring at me. So he was there watching me, and then he ran. Literally, he ran across the mobile home, and then he ran to go back to his where he was, I guess where he was living at. And I was there for almost like um I was almost there for like 20 minutes. Okay. So I was at the bus stop for 20 minutes. I'm like, Spirit, please. Like, I was afraid to go back down there, but I knew that going back down there would be better reception than where I was. So all of a sudden, these cars started coming down the highway. Literally, these cars started coming down the highway, and that's when I'm like, okay, Spirit, give me a sign that you're here, please, Spirit, like help me, help me, help me, right? So I started seeing all these cars coming down the highway, and that's when I was like, okay, Spirit, I'm gonna go back right now. I'm gonna go back to where basically where I came from, where I was picked up at, which I was a little bit scared because I didn't know if he was still be there. I knew he wasn't there at that point, but I was like, I didn't know. I'm paranoid, bro. I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. Long story short, I had walked back to where he was, where I had picked him up, where he had picked me up, sorry. Where he had met me, and he wasn't there, of course. He had probably went back to his house. And my reception at that point, when I looked, my reception bars were good. It was all the way up. So I had called Uber, and I had literally, they had picked me up like 20 minutes later, and I got home, and literally, um, when I got home, also, I was gonna block him on my account. He had blocked me, which was so crazy to me that he blocked me, but he was a weirdo. That was kind of crazy to me because I was gonna block him when I got home, but he actually blocked me first, which that was fine. But I was like, you blocked me, but you were the weirdo, okay? But moral of the story is literally I could have almost gotten killed. I feel like this guy literally was gonna do something to me. And as I said that, literally my candles, the light went out. You guys can see the smoke. Yeah. I felt like this guy was going to do something to me. I know he was going to do something to me because he was acting very weird when I met him in person. I had this really weird vibe. And I made a big mistake. When I went to him, I literally went to him around the evening time. I didn't take my car. He Ubered it to me. And I went basically to his place, right, near his area, which was a big red flag because if you're meeting somebody, don't meet them away from a lot of people. He lived literally kind of in the countryside of California, of LA. Second of all, I didn't listen to my intuition too. My intuition was telling me, bro, don't go. Don't go. Something feels off. Something's gonna happen. So always listen to your intuition because I could have been dead. Like this person could have legit killed me and who knows what would have happened to me. I could have went up that hill and he could have done something to me. Right? He could have done something to me when I was right there running. He could have tried to get me and pull me back or something. You don't know. Even when I was at the bus stop, the fact that he was there watching me, bro, that was scary. I got chills from that. So literally, I feel like I almost could have gotten killed. Probably, like he probably was gonna do something to me, or he was gonna do something crazy to me that wasn't good. But God protected me, because Spirit was there with me. But the moral of the story is be careful when doing these apps. Be careful with these people because you don't know their mental state, right? He seemed nice when we were video chatting. He seemed like a nice person, and at the two, I was also very tired. My judgment wasn't also good because I was working long shifts. I also wanted to, I was lonely. I wanted to get to know more people, but I wasn't my intuition wasn't that dumb where I already started to feel something weird the day before, right? Like I was already feeling these weird vibes, but I didn't listen to my intuition. So always listen to your intuition. Never doubt your intuition, bro. If you feel a situation is off, it probably is. So, moral of the story, listen to your intuition. Do not go anywhere far from the city or away from a lot of people. Don't go to their house. And if you're going, do not Uber it there, right? Make sure you bring your car. Make sure you bring something where you have the chance to also leave if you get uncomfortable. You don't have to wait, right? Or depend on that person to leave. So that is my story, my crazy story time video where I almost got killed by this weird guy named John. You know, John literally is, I hope he heals. I hope that whatever he was going through at the time, he's past that energy. Honestly, wish the best for John, but I will never want to meet John again. So yeah, that's my story, guys. My crazy story time on how I almost basically could have gotten killed. All right, guys. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.